Hello everybody. I attended a dinner the other night with some good friends. A very nice dinner with nice talk. Everybody was in a good mood, friendly, and food was excellent, and the wine was excellent. So everything was just marvelous. And then the next day I woke up and my, immediately my mind started producing thoughts about what had happened, as it always does. And the thing is that it doesn't really matter whether it was a perfect dinner or a perfect meeting, perfect event together with other people, perfect whatever, or if there were some problems involved with what you just experienced. The thoughts start producing themselves anyway. And so, I mean, there's always something that somebody said that you could twist and turn and interpret in ways that make it look like a problem, or maybe I shouldn't have said that. I wonder what she thought when I said that. Maybe she interpreted that as something like this and that. You know what you get my drift here. And this is what our minds do, and we have to be careful. We have to be mindful of that. So I have learned now to turn it off a little bit, or just at least look upon what's happening and don't let these thoughts take over. I hopefully succeed most of the time. As I've been telling before, I try to meditate every morning. It's not always possible. Most mornings I do that, and that helps a lot, because then I kind of stop thinking and just start out with a clean slate, so to speak, and just be in the real reality, real life. Because these thoughts are creating mind constructs that we interpret as reality. We think they're talking about reality, but they're not, of course. I mean, the reality is what is actually happening in the now moment, when you interact with other people, when you're standing like I'm doing now in the middle of nature, and you have these wonderful trees and bushes and grass around you. You can just enjoy that. That's reality. But this thinking process that is constantly going on, it's almost like a thinking industry in our skulls, constantly trying to produce problems. I don't know why, really. It's just mainly creating problems or solutions, but the solutions need problems to be solutions. So it's just a mind construct. And lately I've actually I live by myself, but I have many friends and all that, and sometimes people stay in my home, but most of the time I'm alone, and I have lately started talking to myself quite a bit, actually. And at first I thought I was a bit silly, but then I realized, nobody's listening to me anyway, so I can do this. And the reason I'm doing that is that I'm kind of emphasizing what I want to convey to myself, from myself, so to speak. I want to manifest something. I want to go in some certain direction, and it kind of emphasizes what I'm aiming at if I say it out loud. And you know that oftentimes in this society, when we see people talking to themselves in the streets, well, then we kind of consider them crazy, don't we? It's considered a little bit crazy when people are talking to themselves in the streets. But if you really listen to what they're saying, it's very seldom something odd or something offensive or anything like that. It can happen, but most of the time it's really mundane and really, I mean, not very interesting, really. But they're just talking to themselves about what they are thinking about and what they did and what they want to do and all that. And we think they're crazy. But this is what we are doing all the time, but inside our heads, or wherever it takes place. Because that's thinking. There's no big difference between thinking and talking, really. It's just two different ways of expressing it. So we are talking to ourselves 24/7 almost. Maybe not when we're sleeping, when we're in deep sleep. But other than that, yeah, that's what we do. And that's not considered crazy. That's considered normal. And people even identify with those thoughts. They think that those thoughts are them. Most people think that they are what they think, which is to say that, I mean, they could just as well talk to themselves out in the air when they're out talking, and that would be who they are. I think that illustrates a little bit how crazy it is to identify with your thoughts. which are actually just enclosed talk. And this whole little rant here that I've been doing is because of a guest that I'm soon going to be having on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm excited to have Angelo Di Lullo as a guest on the podcast. He's written this book, and I'm reading it now, Awake. And it is about how to go about some practices and some ways of thinking and actually not thinking to reach realization, to get out of that prison of mind constructs that we are walking around in most of the time, and just see life as it is and let life unfold effortlessly for us the way it's supposed to be and to do. So this is going to be really, really fascinating. But that's going to be in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or so. Before that, we will start off season 3 with a guest that is a good friend of mine and a podcast colleague, Branka Androjna from Slovenia, who's now also a life coach. So this is going to be the first episode next week. And then I have also good hopes, or it's actually virtually certain that I'm going to be interviewing a professor of energy systems in Gothenburg, Sweden, Christian Azar, whom I will talk about the climate with, I think. I mean, I want to do that. We haven't really discussed what we're going to talk about, but the climate and the climate debate and everything around that, and why it's so contentious and why it's so polarized and all that. So that's going to be really interesting as well. We haven't set the date for that, but that's one of the guests that I will be having. And also I have good hopes to have a director, Swedish film director, who made a very controversial but also hailed film, got good reviews, about the pornography industry in Los Angeles. It's about a Swedish 20-year-old girl who goes there to take part in the pornography pornography film business. As you hear, controversial subject, but very interesting, and the film was good. I've seen it, so that's going to be super interesting also. Hopefully I will get to talk to Ninja Thyberg as well. So this third season coming up is promising to be a very interesting season, as they all are. So hopefully you will stay tuned for all of these upcoming episodes, and I will keep on vlogging as well, I hope. Okay, take care now. Have a nice week. Bye. Bye for now. If you like this video and other interviews and talks on Mind the Shift, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.